Gathering at the weather water cooler to chat with a Penn State Meteorology Department alum is particularly refreshing in the middle of summer, and especially when our guests can join us in the studio. Kevin Cei is currently Head of Solutions Architecture at Jupiter Intelligence. He is based in New York City. Thanks for stopping by, Kevin.
No problem. Happy to be here.
So take us through your career path that led you to your current position.
Yeah, well, I feel like at my time here at Penn State, I knew I wanted to do something in weather and business, but I had no idea what career that potentially could be. So actually, what was a great and really useful experience was the Penn State Meteorology Career Fair, because I actually got to go and meet a bunch of companies, learn what weather and business could mean. And luckily, I was able to meet a company called RMS at that career fair that did catastrophe modeling. Had no idea what that was whatsoever, but apparently they liked me enough to hire me. So I was able to get my first job right out of the gate, and all really because of that career fair pointing me in the right direction.
And so RMS stands for Risk Management Solutions.
Correct.
Talk about what you did there.
Well, there's what I thought I was going to do, and then the reality of what I did. So when I started at RMS, I thought I was going to be this hot shot, come in and build their hurricane model or something really fun like that. But I came in and learned that I probably needed a little bit more experience before I got there. So they actually put me in the strategic consulting team, which I actually had no idea what that was either. And really got to learn about what all of these different companies out there do to manage their risk to natural disasters. I really challenged myself to learn more about how those businesses operated, more than the companies themselves. And I actually got compliments from some of my clients acknowledging that I was able to do that. So it was really great. I got to travel the world. I got to talk to so many people and really hear about how all of these companies manage their risks to weather and climate events.
And so you did mention catastrophe modeling.
Yeah.
It's not just about hurricanes. You were
Correct.
put in a position where you were looking at a range of possible disasters.
Exactly. Like I had a terrorism model, which I had no idea you could make a model to figure out what your risk to terrorism is.
Right.
But that just knowing about different climate perils and weather kind of helped that kind of thought process of learning what those models are about. So yeah, really, really great learning experiences.
So let's flip then now to sort of your current role. First, what does Jupiter Intelligence do? Kind of what space do they operate in?
Yeah. So we're in physical climate risk data, and what that means is that we take data that's already available, whether it's from global climate models or from other sources, and we take that they take that data and we make it what we like to call operationalized, which I'm not sure is a real word, but we take and we operationalize it.
I think
and
it's a real word.
Okay, good. Well, it sounds like consulting speak. So what we do is we take that data and we make it usable for all these companies. So if you're a Fortune 500 company, you want to understand what is your impact to your current risk level to flooding, heat, drought, all of these different physical climate perils. We can tell you what that risk is today, what it's going to be in the future, and then what to actually do about it. How do you actually integrate it into your decision-making process as a company?
And talk about your current role as Head of Solutions Architecture.
Yeah. So what we do is we're the kind of tip of the spear for a lot of the work that we do, meaning that we're working directly with these customers to figure out, hey, let's take this climate data. How do I use it? I mean, there's a lot of data out there, climate data in particular. So how do we take that and make it usable? If you're a oil and gas company, it's very different than if you're a big bank, right? You need to figure out different ways to use it. And so that's what my team does. We take that information, we work with the customers, help them understand how to make better business decisions in the future based on all of the different climate data.
And this is kind of a loaded question, but how do you demonstrate for a client that the advice that you are providing is actually helping?
That is probably the most challenging question that we get. There's one side that says, well, these things aren't going to happen until 2050, so we're not fortune tellers, so we can't actually tell you specifically this is what exactly is going to happen. But what we can do is we can provide you the tools to validate a lot of the data that we have. And so validation is a big focus at Jupiter. We actually, with some of our largest customers, give them the tools, all of the peer-reviewed papers, all of the data, examples of the methodologies that we go through, and give them those tools to independently validate our output. So they and their team can go through all of the steps that we went through, read all of the documentation and papers that are out there, and confirm what we're saying is reflective of the latest scientific consensus.
Got it. Let's switch over a little bit to the personal side. Your
Sure.
wife, Erica, is also a meteorologist, Penn State grad.
Yeah.
How exactly does a two-meteorologist household work?
Yeah. It's a very nerdy household. There's a lot of nerdy talk. But actually, what's really great is my wife, who came from more of the weather forecasting side of things. She had a long career in that. She's currently working at NOAA. So she handles the kind of short-term weather forecasting side of things, and I'm more on the long-term climate side. So we actually are almost the perfect complement between the weather and climate side of things.
That's pretty neat. You are president of the New York City chapter of the Penn State Alumni Association. That itself sounds like a full-time job. I mean, how many Penn State alums are there in the New York City area?
We have about 12,000, which I don't know. Some people say that thinks it's high or low, but we do have a really large alumni base, a really passionate alumni base. We're in that perfect area where we're just far enough away from State College where everyone is there's a lot of people in the area, but they also don't travel that frequently back to campus. So there's a great opportunity to meet new people, come together, and our game watch parties for football are very, very popular.
We have about 30 seconds left. Do you have a favorite memory from your time here at Penn State?
I feel like everyone says it's usually a football game. For me, it has to be a football game because 2005, Penn State, Ohio State, we were pretty bad the first 2 years before that. I think we won 7 games in 2 years. So to have a really magical season, a magical game, I think it was raining that day. So it was kind of this really surreal environment with rain falling and then a great upset. So super fun, and I'll never forget it.
Kevin Cei, Head of Solutions Architecture at Jupiter Intelligence. Thanks very much, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks, John.
And we will be back in a moment with more.